Welcome back to Watts the Obsession. This video is going to take a look at Shanann Watts' good friend, Nicole Atkinson, who discovered that something was amiss in the Watts home when she couldn't get a hold of Shanann. In my opinion, Nicole Atkinson is a hero. We are going to listen to one of her interviews with police. Here's a little backdrop on the story and the part that Nicole Atkinson played heroically in discovering that Shanann, 15 weeks pregnant, Bella Watts, and Celeste Watts were missing. At approximately 1:48 a.m. on Monday, August 13, 2018, Shanann Watts, returning from a business trip to Arizona, was driven home by her friend and colleague Nicole Atkinson. Over that weekend, Chris Watts had been home with their daughters. Later that day, Shanann and the girls were reported missing by Nicole Atkinson, who in my opinion is a hero. She had become concerned when Shanann missed a scheduled obstetrician and gynecological appointment and failed to return her text messages. Atkinson went to the Watts residence at about 12:10 p.m. When the doorbell and knocks went unanswered, Atkinson notified Christopher, who was at work, and called the Frederick Police Department. A Frederick police officer arrived to conduct a welfare check at about 1:40 p.m.
How you guys doing?
Brother?
What's that?
Do you remember me?
Yeah.
Hey man,
How you been?
Hi.
You Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. So what's going on?
So my friend, we were out of town for a business trip this weekend.
All right.
And I dropped her off at 2 o'clock this morning. She's 15 weeks pregnant. She wasn't feeling well. And she had a doctor's appointment this morning at 9. And I told her to let me know if she needed me to take her. She's got 2 little girls. And she was very distraught over the weekend, wasn't eating normally or drinking. And we kept trying to force it on her because she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband and her supposedly are separating, but she didn't know this. She thought they were just having issues. He disclosed that to me today.
Okay.
Because I called him and I was like, have you talked or heard from Shanann since she left for work this morning? Because I can't get a hold of her. I've called, I've texted. Her car's in the garage. Her shoes she wears every single day are by the front door.
She only has one vehicle?
No, they only have the one vehicle in his work truck.
Okay. That's what I'm asking. There's not
the girls and went on a play date, but they're 4 and 2. She went on a play date. Why wouldn't she take in a car? They're both in car seats.
During the welfare check, Christopher gave the police officer permission to search the house, where the family dog was discovered unharmed, but no sign of Shanann and the girls were found. Searchers discovered Shanann's purse containing her key and medicine. This greatly alarmed her good friend Nicole Atkinson, who had been with her in the days preceding the disappearance of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste on that trip to Arizona, where they together were at a convention for the company Lavelle's Thrive promotional purposes. She noticed that Shanann's shoes were still by the door, the shoes that she wore every day, and her son hopped on the back of her car to peek into the garage and noticed that the car seats were still inside of Shanann's car, which was inside of the garage. This greatly alarmed Nicole Atkinson because she realized that none of this was right. The following interview took place before the remains of Shanann Watts, 15 weeks pregnant, Bella Watts, age 4, and Celeste Watts, age 3, were found. At Survey 319, Shanann buried in a shallow grave, and Bella and Celeste each found in a crude oil tank.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hello.
Are you Nicole?
I'm gonna step out for a minute, yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Agent Greg Zettner with Colorado Bureau of Investigation.
Okay.
I just talked to you on the phone a few minutes ago. So, can we go down to the little conference room on the end here and talk? I'd appreciate that.
How are you liking the weather?
And it's raining like crazy. Oh, juice. All right. And is it Nicho? N-I-C-K-O-L-E. And, I'm sorry, what did you say your last name was again?
Do you want my married one that happened a month ago, or because it hasn't changed yet, or the one that's on my driver's license?
What's on your driver's license?
Right now, Utoft, but
How do you spell that?
U-T-O-F-T, but that should change tomorrow, hopefully.
Okay. To Atkinson?
Yeah, A-T-K-I-N-S-O-N.
Okay. And that 970 number, that's what I called you on?
Yeah.
That's the best
That's
number for you?
yeah.
Okay. And what's your home address?
229 Florence Avenue,
Florence.
Firestone. $8052.
And what's your date of birth?
6481.
Okay. All right, so I understand that you are pretty good friends with, is it Shanann or Shanann?
It's Shanann. You pronounce it like shenanigans.
Okay.
Everybody calls her everything else but that, but it's Shanann.
Right.
It took me like 2 years to get it down.
Okay, yeah, I've heard Shannon, I've heard this, that, and the
Yeah,
other.
it's
So Shanann, okay.
Yeah.
So I understand you and Shanann are pretty good friends. Is that
I mean, yeah.
correct?
We hang out a lot. We have kids the same age.
Okay.
I met her because her mom started working for me when I was running a whole bunch of salons and decided to change professions, so now I'm here. But
Okay.
that's not important.
All right. So how long have you known Shanann?
3 to 4 years, I would
Okay.
say. It was when Bella was little, and then she was pregnant with Cece, and Cece just turned 30, so.
Okay. So Bella is the older one, right?
And Bella's 4.
Bella's 4. And then is it
Cece-
Celeste?
It's
actually?
Celeste, and
Okay.
she goes by Cece, yeah. Or they call her Cece.
Right.
'Cause it's Celeste
She's
Catherine.
3?
Yeah, she
Okay.
just turned 3 in July.
Okay. Okay. And, okay. That's into, you guys have kids that are close in age?
Yeah, my youngest is Madison. She's 2 and will be 3 in October. So
Okay.
we go to their house, or they always ask, "When's Madison coming over?" If I go by myself and
Sure.
they're there. So
Okay. So since you've known Shanann for about 3 to 4 years, when did you meet Chris?
the same time I met Shanann, I actually got invited by her mom Sandy over for Cece's first birthday party.
Okay.
I mean, I like talked to her in passing, but to actually like say I got to know her and stuff like that, I'd met her before, but not like where we developed a friendship. So, Cece's first birthday party around then, I went over and I met the whole family and spent
Okay.
some time with them. So, and ever since then, because we have the same kids in age, and she got me doing Thrive with her. So.
Okay. What is Thrive? I've heard about that. I don't
So
know exactly what that is.
It's these patches that we wear,
Mhm.
and it's a nutritional supplement.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just patches, but that's the gist of it.
Okay.
Unless you want more information.
I heard of it. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah,
So-
it's a nutritional supplement.
Okay.
It just time releases vitamins and minerals into your body all day long, so it gives you like mental clarity and
Oh,
energy.
all right.
You actually stop craving stuff that you normally would want, like ice cream. I don't crave ice cream anymore. I
Really?
quit drinking soda. I don't drink coffee.
Oh. All right. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So were you and
Arizona.
Shanann?
Shanann.
See, now you got me wanting to say shenanigans.
Right.
So were you guys together in the Thrive
Mhm.
part of this? Is that like a?
It's a home-based business.
Okay.
It's kind of like Mary Kay, or it's a direct sales
Okay,
thing.
gotcha.
So she actually, when I went to Cece's birthday party 2 years ago, gave me a sample, and then I went over to her house and we had play dates and whatnot for a year. We'd go to lunch or whatever here or there, like girlfriends do. And then a year ago, I finally decided to try it. After the sample she gave me sat there, and I was like, okay, I texted her and was like, I'm gonna try it, and she's like, okay. And then like by day 2, I went over and signed up to be a promoter because I actually felt what it was doing for me. So I was like, she's like, you just be a customer, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna talk about it. I want to make money off of it. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you guys were wrapped up in the Thrive thing together.
Yes,
And
we
so-
left together. We fought together and we flew back together.
Okay. So you guys, was there like a Thrive convention this last
There
weekend?
was a training in Arizona
Okay.
that some of the top leaders of the company were putting on.
Okay. Where was it in Arizona?
Scottsdale, at the Embassy Suites.
Okay. And so you guys went there. When did you guys go?
I left here at 4 o'clock on Friday morning. So it was Thursday night. Friday morning, and I drove from here to her house and picked her up, and then we drove to the airport.
Okay. Do
And
you remember what time you picked her up?
I was around 4:30.
In the morning?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys had a really early flight, I assume?
Yeah, we flew out at 7.
Do you know
I
airline?
can pull it up. It was Southwest.
Southwest?
Yeah, I can show you the boarding passes if you want. They're on my phone.
And you flew from here to Scottsdale?
Phoenix.
Phoenix, okay.
It's about 20.
It's Sky Harbor, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you picked her up on, that was Thursday, you
Thursday.
said? So
Mhm.
what day was it? Thursday the 9th, is that right?
Well, it was Friday morning, so it would have been the 10th.
Oh, I got you. Okay, August 10th at 4:30 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And your flight was at what time? 7:10, you said, something like
We
that?
flew out at 7.
7? Okay.
Mhm. So we got to the airport like right around 5 o'clock.
Sure. Okay. So you picked her up from her house.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one on,
2825.
yeah, what's her address? 2825?
2825. It just escaped me. Give me a second. Saratoga.
Oh, there you go.
I was like,
Saratoga Trail, is that right?
yeah.
Okay. And did you go inside?
Nope.
Did you
Because
just
the
wait
kids
out
were
front?
sleeping. She
Okay.
said, just text me when you get here. She was actually waiting on the front porch.
Oh, she was? Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't see any of the kids? You didn't see Chris?
No.
She was just on the front porch
Yeah.
with a bag, suitcase?
She had a carry-on suitcase in her purse.
Okay. You remember what color her carry-on was?
It's black. It's in the house sitting right by the stairs.
Is it? Okay. I haven't been in there. So carry-on. Did
It was
wheels?
sitting there. Yeah.
Okay. Like your regular carry-on?
Yeah, I think it's like a, I don't know, it's black and it has some patent leather on it.
Okay.
It was sitting in, well, because I've been in the house in the last 2 days, it was sitting right by the stairs
Okay.
when we went in yesterday.
Okay, so you pick her up 4:30 at her house. She's got the carry-on and her purse.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of purse does she have?
It was a Dolce & Gabbana, like beige colored. It's in
Beige.
the house too.
Okay.
I found it in her office when we went through the house.
So it was in the office?
Yeah, it was in her office,
Okay.
like right inside the door. I don't know how I walked past it as many times as I did because when we went in, I was concerned about Shanann.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I don't know, I can let you ask your questions, I can tell the story as you ask them, or I can just tell you, I don't know.
We'll kind of muddle through this. So
Okay.
just go ahead. I'll interrupt if I have a question.
So I was concerned because normally when we come back from these, she harasses me, and I don't want to say harass me, but she harasses me the next day, like, come on, let's call people, let's get things going, let's work business. And she didn't call it, or she didn't text that morning. Like, usually I have a text message between 6:30 and 7:30 from her if she wants to do business or wants to get together or whatever. And I had signed up a new promoter over the weekend, so we had plans to go to lunch with her at 1:30. And I woke up at like 7:45 that morning, and I didn't hear anything from her. I thought it was odd, but I knew we were both tired, so I rolled over and went back to sleep. And then I woke up, and I still hadn't heard anything from her, so I texted her. Like I said, I can show you the text.
Yeah.
I just have to skim through. She's usually on the top. I texted her on yesterday morning at 8:43 a.m. asking her, how are you?
8:43.
Yeah. And then I texted again at 8:55 and said, just wanted to see if you were okay. I know you're hurting a lot last night. I hope you're okay. She's 15 weeks pregnant, and she was having a lot of migraines over the weekend. And she she was tired. She wasn't eating because of what was going. Like, we were pushing food on her and water because she was dehydrated and not eating like she normally does. And I presumed it had to do with what was going on with Chris. So.
All right, hang on.
Okay.
Let me catch up with you real quick.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Okay, so migraines. Let me make a few notes so we can come back.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got only part of the story, so I may not be able.
Yeah, no, you're
be
fine. I can
totally
go back
following
to
with
your
you.
questions if
Okay.
you want. I can jump back.
Okay, let me go back to the beige purse real
Okay.
quick. So that was the beige purse that she took with her on the trip.
Mhm.
And it was in the office?
Yes.
Where you found it? Okay.
Yes.
Is that an unusual place for that to be?
I mean, no. I mean, I don't pay attention to where Shanann puts her purse or whatever, so no, I don't think so, but usually she has it on the counter when I'm there, because we're getting ready to leave, so I don't know.
So did you move it at all, or did you just leave it where it was?
I told them I found it, and then they asked me to get it, the police officer did, and Chris, so I went and grabbed it, and I gave it to Chris. I didn't go through it. I gave it to him and let him go through it.
All right. Okay, let's go. So I'll let you tell me your story,
Okay.
and then we'll go back through and I'll ask you questions about
Okay.
that. Okay.
So
So let's start with, you go to the conference and
we came home.
came home.
We came home.
What time did you come home? Let's start with that.
So our flight was delayed. We were supposed to fly out at 8:45, I believe. I'd have to look at the boarding pass, and get here at 11:25. And our flight got delayed, and we didn't actually take off. I want to say it was 10:20 is when we boarded the plane, and we didn't get here until 12:45 in the morning.
12:45. Okay.
And then I dropped her off between, I thought it was around 1:45 because I got home a little after 2. But the neighbor's security system has me dropping her off at 1:48.
Okay.
And then I went home and I didn't talk to her again that night.
Okay. And what time did you get home?
I got home a little after 2.
little after
Like
2.
it was like 2:01 or 2:03.
Okay.
It wasn't like we live really close together.
How far do you live away?
From her house to my house, I would say like 5 or 6 miles.
Okay.
It's on the other side of I-25, so
Okay.
over in Firestone.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay. Okay. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
So then that morning I woke up and I texted her,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, I asked her if she was okay, and then and then at 8:55 I texted and said, just wanted to see if you're okay. I know you were hurting a lot last night. I hope you're okay, because she was in a lot of pain on the plane. Last year in August she had a neck surgery and had to have a degenerative disc fixed. So her neck was really bothering her, and because we'd sat in the airport extra long, she was sitting for extra long, and she was in a lot of pain. I don't know if it was that, and then she had a headache on top of it, and so that's why I texted her that morning, because like I said, it's not normal for her not to text me in the morning usually.
Does she have medication that she generally takes for the?
Yeah, she had, I don't know what it is, but she did have migraine medicine with her, and then she also had anti-nausea medicine with her that she was taking over the weekend.
Okay.
And they
Do the migraines make her sick?
Yeah.
Like nauseated?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and she's pregnant too, so I don't know if she's taking the anti-nausea for the migraine or
There
for
is
the
that.
pregnancy.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah. So then I didn't hear anything, and I knew she had a doctor's appointment at 9 a.m. That was the other thing. On the way home, she was saying that in the car, she said, it's going to really suck to get up in 3 hours. And I was like, that's only 5:30. Why are you getting up in 3 hours? And she's like, because Cece will be up, the baby. She's like, she's still in North Carolina time, because they had just the week prior come back from being in North Carolina for 6 weeks.
Okay. Who all was in North Carolina?
Cece, Bella, and Shanann all went out. I could look on the calendar and tell you the dates. At the end of June. And then Chris went out the last week and then flew back with them. They were there. Let's see. We came back from San Diego on the 25th. So she flew out on the 26th of June, and then they came back. And then Chris flew out there on the 31st of July. And then they all flew back on the 7th of August.
Okay.
So
the doctor's appointment was at
that was
prenatal?
Yeah, it was a prenatal appointment.
Okay.
And so I texted her and said how her appointment went. Asked her how her appointment went. Find it again. I texted her and again at 9:21 and said, let me know how your appointment goes. And then at 11:46, because I thought she might be busy out running errands or whatever. I mean, it wasn't like her, but
Is it unusual for her not to return texts?
Yes, very unusual. Because of her business, that's how she communicates with everybody. She's constantly on Facebook, and that was the other thing. She didn't post on social media that morning. And if you go back and look through her Facebook, she has posts anywhere from 5:30 to 7 in the morning, every single morning. Every morning. It's very unlikely.
And she didn't on the 12th.
Correct.
And then that's unusual.
Yes.
Okay.
So when I looked on Facebook, because I hadn't been on Facebook either, I was actually I drove to Longmont around 10 to go look at a house for the other gal that was with us in Arizona. Her name's Cassie. They're supposed to be moving out here. So I went to go look at a house for them, and after I did that, I was like, I haven't heard from Shanann, have you? And she was like, no, I haven't either. She's not returning my phone calls or texts. Like, we both have called and texted her. So at 11:46, I said, I'm very worried about you. I'm coming to your house. And the reason I decided to go to her house was because I had watched the dog Dieter, the week before. And I didn't bother Chris because I knew he figured he was at work. But I figured, like, well, maybe after he left for work, she passed out or something. She's pregnant. She wasn't feeling well. Something. So I was like, I'll just go to the house and see if she's there. And if her car's there but she doesn't answer, then I'll use their code to go in. So I had my son with me, my 16-year-old and my 2-year-old, and I go to their house and I knocked on the door and I rang the doorbell, and her shoes that she had on the night before were right inside the door. And those shoes she wears everywhere. It doesn't matter if there's, like, unless it snows 3 feet, she will put on tennis shoes, but they're flip-flops. She wears them everywhere. So I was like, well, that's odd if she's not here. And she buys the same damn flip-flops every year because she likes them that much. Like,
Well, do you know what kind of brand name they are?
I don't. I have a picture of them.
Can you send me some of this stuff?
Yeah.
Could you, if you have a picture of the flip-flops, that'd be great. And do you know how to do like screenshots?
Mm-hmm.
Can you send me
My text?
those texts?
Yeah.
Also, that'd be perfect. If you could send them to that phone number I called you on, that would be great. What color are these flip-flops?
They're black.
Are they like regular between the toe flip-flop?
Yeah.
Okay. And those were inside the door, and you could see them.
Yeah, I could see them because the way their door is, it's a door and then there's 2 glass panels on each side.
Okay.
So I knocked, I rang the doorbell.
And she
nobody-
always wears those.
all the time.
Nothing else.
I mean,
Ever.
she wears other shoes, like if she goes out on a date or something, she'll wear other shoes, but she's always in those flip-flops.
Okay.
Like, we went to Arizona and that's the only shoes she brought with her.
Okay.
And then, so she didn't answer. I knocked. She rang the doorbell. She didn't answer. And then I tried the code. I didn't even think to look for the car yet, but I tried the code. And then when I went to open the door, they have one of those locks like you have in a hotel room up top.
Oh yeah. The
So that was
thing that flip over.
that was flipped. So I couldn't get in, but I mean, you could stick your arm in, but you couldn't get in.
Right.
So I was like,
So
okay.
you have the code for the door.
I do have the code for the door,
Okay.
but I couldn't get
Right.
in.
Okay.
So then I was like, why would they flip this lock? The only time I know of them flipping that lock is when Cece, their 3-year-old, tries to escape. Or, I mean, I don't know if they flip it at night because I'm never there when they go to bed, but the only time I've seen them use it is when they're on the inside of the house.
Mm-hmm.
To keep Cece from going outside because she's at that age where she can open the
Yeah,
door
right.
and she escapes. So the lock was flipped and I was like, I yelled through the door, nobody answered me. And then I told Nicholas, my son, I was like, because the garage panels where you can see in, it was too high for me. I'm like, come look and see for cars in the garage. And he couldn't, so then I backed my car up and pulled it up closer to the garage and he stood on my hood to look and see. And her car was in the garage. And I'm like, why would, like, in the back door they have a sliding glass door too that you can see from the front door, and they have one of those things that comes down. That was locked
Key
too.
bar?
Yeah. That was locked too. And I'm like, and the dog was put up. And I don't know if they cage him all the time, but as far as I know, they only do it when they leave the house. So I don't know. And then I don't remember at what point I mean, I could look at my phone, but I did call Chris and said, I was like, Chris, I'm worried about Shanann. She's not at home, or I said her car's here, but she's not at home. And do you know where she's at? Like, it's not, I haven't heard from her this morning. He then told me that she did not take the girls to daycare and they were going on a play date. And then I turned around and I was like, well, if they went on a play date, why doesn't she have her car? And then he proceeded to tell me, he's like, I don't know what Shanann's told you or hasn't told you, or if you know any of this, but he's like, and I'm not trying to bring you into our personal stuff, but me and Shanann are separating and we're going to sell the house. And at which point I said, Chris, your personal stuff is none of my business. That's not my concern right now. Either your wife and you will work things out or you won't. But where is your wife? Because she doesn't, like, she goes everywhere in that car. She's paid for by the company. Like, it was just odd to me that the car was there.
Does she have any other mode of transportation?
No, that's her only vehicle.
Okay.
The only other vehicle they have is his work truck, and he's not allowed to drive anybody in it but him.
Okay.
Like, he will drive home from work, drop off the truck, and pick up the other car to go get the kids from school if he has to.
Okay. What time did you call Chris?
I called him at 12:27. And I called him twice. He didn't answer, and then I called again.
Okay.
And that, I mean, we had that conversation.
And that's when he said that they were
she
going
was
on a play date.
And I was like, okay, but like, if they're on a play date, how'd she get him there? Because they're both in car seats.
Right.
He's like, well, a friend must have picked him up or something. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I'm busy and I'm at work. He's like, and because I was messing with the door, I set off the alarm system. So they called him at work. And he's like, are you messing with the door? I said, yeah, I tried to get in your house because I'm worried about your wife. And he was like, he's like, she's on a plate. And again, I'll tell you, I'm at work. He's like, I'll try and contact her. And he hung up. So then I went and locked the front door, and my son was messing with the garage door, and I told him to stop it, and he set the alarm off again. And then Chris called again and said, are you still at my house? And I told him no, because we were leaving, but we left because I'm like, okay, well, let's go see if she went to her doctor's appointment, because I'm trying to like maybe, I don't know, maybe she did go on a play date, who knows. So I drove to the doctor's office because I doctor there too, and I know they're not supposed to give out personal, and they didn't give out personal information. Like I'm seeing it, I know the whole HIPAA laws and all of that. I just walked up to him and I said, I know you're not supposed to tell me this. I get it. I don't need other information. I just need to know if Shanann Watts showed up for her doctor's appointment. And the lady looked at me and I was like, please, I just need to know if I need to be concerned. And if she didn't show up for that appointment, I know I need to be concerned. And she told me she didn't show up for the appointment.
Okay. What time were you at the doctor's office? Do you remember?
Well, if I called Chris at 12:27, it's probably like 15 minutes from their house. I can give you the address of the doctor's office.
Yeah, if you know it.
It's 6, yeah, because I go there all the time. It's
Okay.
651 Mitchell Way. And it's in Erie, Colorado.
And you think you're there 1 o'clock-ish maybe?
Let's see. Cassie called me at when I was leaving there and I was heading back at 12:40. So yeah, I would say around 12:30, 12:40.
Okay, 12.
Because I got 2 phone calls from our friends because they both wanted to know what was going on.
Okay. So you think it's about 15 minutes between their house and the doctor's office?
Mhm.
So we call it 12:45? Would that be accurate, you think?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, I'll call it. How about 12:40 to 12:45?
Okay.
Does that sound
Okay.
accurate to you? I don't know
Yeah,
if that
well,
works.
I left the house. When I called Chris is when I left the house shortly thereafter, and that was at 12:27. So.
Okay. All right. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, I
so-
know. So then after I left the doctor's office, I was like, okay, something's seriously wrong. So, because I've been in contact with Cassie and Christina all morning, because these are people that would normally talk to her every day. I called them, I'm like, what do I do? Chris said she's with a friend, and they were both like, go back to the house and call the cops. So then I did. I drove back to the house, and I called Chris again. I said, I'm going back to, well, I texted Shanann again. I don't mean to jump around.
That's okay. I'm with you.
There's just, I don't get it. I texted her, this is when I left the doctor's office, at
Okay.
12:47. I texted her, I said, I've been to your house, you won't open the door, your alarm's set, your shoes are sitting inside, your car's home, I'm very concerned about you right now, I need you to text me or call me, I just want to know you're okay. If you don't want to talk to nobody, you don't want to be around anybody, I get it, it's fine, I just need to know you're okay. And she didn't respond. So I was driving back to her house at that point.
Okay.
And then Cassie had called Chris and told Chris that he needed to go to his house.
And who's Cassie?
She's one of the other Thrive promoters, but we're all friends. She was in Arizona with us.
Okay.
She lives in Arizona.
Oh, she does? Okay.
Yeah.
And who is Christina?
Christina's also another friend, but she lived with Chris. She lived with Chris and Shanann for 6 weeks when she had her neck surgery. She lives in Hawaii, and she flew out here with her daughter and lived with Shanann for the 6 weeks when she had her neck surgery.
Okay. But neither of them are actually here.
No.
Okay.
That's why they were on the phone with me, because I called one of them and was like, have you, either one of you heard from Shanann? Because I hadn't heard from her either. So I started reaching out to people like, okay, if somebody's heard from her, at least then I don't have to worry.
Right. Okay. So you text her at 12:47 and you're going to her house.
Right.
What happens now?
So then I'm talking to, within all of this time frame, I talked to Chris, I think I called Chris again. I talked to Cassie, and she said that she had talked to Chris and he was supposed to be at his house and be there in 30 minutes. And I was like, well, I'm on my way back. So I called Chris at 12:41.
12:49 you said?
12:41.
12:41.
I called him at 12:41.
Okay. Did you talk to him at that point?
I can't remember if I talked to him or he didn't answer.
Okay.
I don't remember, because I called him again at 1:31, because by this time I'd already been back to the house.
Okay.
And Cassie had said that he was coming back and he'd be there in 30 minutes. So that was in the time frame that I was driving back to the house.
Okay.
So I don't remember if I talked to him, to be honest with you, at the 12:41.
Okay.
But I did talk to him at 1:31 because he wasn't home yet and he should have been there if it was only going to take him 30 minutes.
Right.
So, and by that time I called the Frederick Police Department at 1:31, because I called Chris at 1:31. I called Chris and said, Chris, where are you? You said you were going to be here in 30 minutes. He's like, I'm on my way. I'm on I-70. I'm 45 minutes out. I said, well, I'm calling the police to do a health warrants check. And I honestly couldn't tell you at that point what he said or didn't say.
Okay.
The phone call was, I don't even know. I will tell you details. I had an incoming call at 12:41 and it lasted for 42 seconds. I think that was him calling me to ask me if I was still at the house messing with the door.
At 12:41?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then at 1:31 I called him, and that's when I told him that, like, you're not here. And then he still wasn't at the house. By 1:52 I called again and was like, where are you? But I had already called the police then, and they were on
What
their
time
way.
did you call the police?
1:33.
Did you call 911 or the regular line?
I called the non-emergency line
Okay.
because I didn't know whether they would consider that emergency or not, so I looked up the non-emergency line and called it.
Okay.
And then
So then 1:52 you said you got another phone call? Or you
I
Chris
called him again and I was like, where are you? Because the police were there and they wanted to know how far out he was because we couldn't get in the house. The police couldn't even get in the house.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I don't want to break down the door if she's not in there. So the police officer did. So he was checking windows and stuff and trying to figure out how he could get in. And then he said he was like 10 or 15 minutes out or whatnot. I really don't remember.
Okay.
It was a very short conversation, though. I can tell you how long it lasted. I was on the phone with him for 17 seconds, so if that tells you.
Sure. That's short.
Yeah. So then Chris gets there, and the police officer was like, do you know where your wife is? And he's like, no. He's like, well, can you open your door so we can go inside? And he wasn't there yet. And then I called her mom because her mom had lived there too. So I called Cassie, because Cassie stayed with her, and then her mom stayed with her. So I was trying to get anybody to give us a code for the garage, because that was the only way to get in. So I let Chris go, and then I called her mom, and her mom didn't know what was going on. And I was like, Sandy, do you have a code to Shanann and Chris's garage door? And she was like, she started giving me numbers, but none of them worked. And then I, of course, had to tell her what was going on, and I didn't call her before that because I didn't want to upset her if there was nothing to upset her about. So, and then Chris showed up and let us in.
Okay. How did he let you in?
He opened the garage door.
Okay. So
And it didn't dawn on
I'm sorry. There's a front door and then a back sliding glass door.
Yeah.
And then is there a door through the garage as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're okay. It didn't dawn on me at the time because he went to open the front door so we could come inside. But when we walked into the garage, or when the garage door opened, he immediately opened the car door and then bolted for the house. Like, the more, like, I've been trying to play this through my head so many times in the last 2 days.
Okay, let me see if I've got this straight. So he opens the garage door and it's you and Chris.
The police
And
officer.
the police officer.
My 16-year-old. My 2-year-old, I think, was playing in the front seat of the car still at that point. And the neighbor might have been there by that point. The
Okay.
neighbor came over at some point.
Okay, so the garage door goes up
Uh-huh.
and is Chris in first?
Yeah.
Who's behind him?
I think it was the police officer and
Okay.
then me and my son.
Okay, so as Chris walks by, what car is in the garage?
It's a white Lexus.
Okay, is it one of the SUV type
Yeah.
vehicles? I don't
Like
know.
a Ford Explorer type version.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so he walks along the passenger side? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
along the driver's side?
No, passenger side.
Passenger side.
And he opens the door. And it didn't,
Front or
front passenger door.
front passenger door?
And I don't know why that's sticking out of my head, but it like distracted all of us because I started looking at the car and then I looked to see if the girls' car seats were in there and whatever. And then he went and opened the front door and it, like, I didn't even dawn to go on the front door. We all went through the garage. But he went around and opened the front door, did whatever he did. And I'm not trying to incriminate the man, I don't know what my friend
That's
is.
unusual.
And it doesn't explain things.
Okay. So let's see. So into garage. Opens front passenger door.
Mm-hmm.
You think that was an effort to delay?
I don't know, and it could just be me, like, my mind, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to, like, replay the events of what happened. It just was odd to me, like, if we're looking for them in the house, why did you open the car door?
Yeah,
It was odd.
that is unusual. Okay, so I assume that delay wasn't very long.
No, it was probably, like, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, I don't even know, it wasn't that long, but we went in the house, but I know I was, like, because I looked and the car seats were in there, I'm like, if she's with friends, why are the car seats here? Like, how many friends do you know carry around extra car seats?
Yeah, none.
So, yeah, so that's where, like, the more I've thought about it since yesterday, I'm like, why did he open the car door? Like, that's something you do after the fact, I think. Like, I'd go inside and see if somebody was in there or if they were okay. So,
Okay, so then you go inside.
we're inside.
Okay, you can go ahead.
And everybody kind of split. The police officer and him, like, everybody kind of split because we were looking for Cece and Bella and Shanann. Like, everybody just kind of split up because at this point, I don't know what you guys are considering this or not considering this, but at this point, we all split up and we're just looking to see if we can find them. Downstairs, upstairs, everywhere. Every room, everywhere. We're just looking. And they're nowhere in the house. They're nowhere. Like,
Okay.
nowhere.
Can you describe the house, inside of the house for me? I mean, is it in shambles? Is it
No.
messy? Is it
No,
neat?
it's clean. It's neat and
Is it
clean.
always that way?
For the most part, I mean, the girls might have a couple toys out here or there, but no, it was really clean. Like, and Shanann's, like, I'm sure you're gonna go in her house at some point. She's very OCD. Everything's labeled. It has its spot.
Okay.
It doesn't move from that spot. If it does, it gets put back in that spot. Like, yeah.
Okay. Do you notice anything unusual? Does it smell weird?
No, it just.
Is anything out of place that
I
you
mean, I could say it
noticed?
felt weird, but
Felt weird.
it felt weird.
Let's talk about feeling weird.
I don't know. By that point, it felt like it had an eerie feeling to it. My mind wasn't in a good place.
Okay.
Because she never leaves that car. Like, that car goes everywhere with her. I mean, unless she's out of town and Chris needs the car because he has the girls, they always have that. She's always in that car. So, I don't know, it was just weird to me that the car was there. Her shoes were by the front door.
Okay.
So,
So would it be fair to say that for her to leave the house without her shoes and that car,
It's out of character.
it's very unusual for her.
Yes. And it got worse as we went on. So we all split up and we're looking for things. And then I'm not sure how we all ended upstairs, but we all ended upstairs at one point, and Shanann makes her daughter's beds every day. Like, I've been upstairs, they have a playroom upstairs, I've seen their rooms. Those beds were not made.
The beds weren't made.
The little girls' beds were not made. Shanann's and Chris's bed was stripped.
Okay.
All of the bedding was, and I don't know if all of the bedding, but the bedding was all over in the corners of the room. And I didn't touch it, I didn't go through it, I don't know like if sheets were missing or anything like that, but all of the bedding was stripped off the bed, which I thought was weird. And then the police officer had asked if she had her phone on her, and we didn't know at that point. And then like 5 minutes later, my son was like rummaging through the pillows on the sofa, and he found her phone shoved down in the cushions on the sofa.
Okay. All right. Let me back up to the bed real quick.
Okay.
Okay. So just so I'm clear, so the girls' beds were not made, and that's unusual.
Yes.
Okay. And then the bedding for their bed, which I would say was a master bedroom.
Yeah. You can see it from the stairs.
Okay. And it was all stripped off and then like piled in the corner, or
Yeah, there was a pile over in like, if you were facing the room this way and the bed's right here, there was piles in the corner, both of these corners.
Okay. So it's in two corners. Okay, so was it just a bare mattress that you saw?
Yeah, there was a mattress cover on it, but like
Okay.
I don't know if it was a mattress pad or just a mattress cover, but there weren't any sheets or blankets or pillows on it.
Okay.
They were all on the floor, which I thought was odd because Shanann usually doesn't start a project unless she's going to finish a project because of her OCD-ness, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But Chris does all the laundry too, so if Chris left for work, why was the bed stripped?
Right.
And he says he takes care of all the laundry and does all the laundry, so that was the other thing. And I know they're silly little things, but like, why would he strip the bed before he went to work if Shanann was still there sleeping in it?
Okay. And you said the pillows were on the ground too?
Yes.
Did you happen to notice if the covers were on the pillows?
I didn't.
Okay. What color sheets were on the bed or were laying in the pile?
They were white.
Any blankets or anything like that you noticed?
Yeah, there was blankets. I couldn't tell if that, like I said, they have like a down comforter or a duvet
Okay.
that was on the floor. I don't know if it had an actual cover on it or not, or if it was there. Like I said, I didn't touch. I tried to touch as least as possible.
Okay.
Because, well, at that point, bad thoughts were going through my head.
Okay, so after you leave the anything else in the master bedroom that you noticed?
Well, we weren't in the master bedroom. I just saw that from the, like, I peeked in the door and saw it. I didn't
Okay.
actually go in yet. So then I turned around and the police officer had asked if she had her phone. And then Chris comes out of
Oh,
the
yeah.
master bedroom and says she left her wedding ring on the nightstand. I didn't see it on the nightstand, but he brought it out and had it in his hand.
Did she have it with her
Yes.
in Arizona?
It was on her hand. I mean, I don't think, the only time I've ever seen her take it off was when she had her neck surgery.
Okay.
Because she can't have jewelry on when you have surgery.
All right. Tell me more about the phone.
So my son, like I said, he was rummaging through the pillows because we were trying to see if her phone was there. Because if it was, it's usually where people normally put phones or whatever, by the bed or whatever. I don't know why he chose to look in the sofa, but he did. He's a 16-year-old. I don't know. So
Where is the sofa?
it's right outside. They have like so you have Chris's and Shanann's room are right here. Then there's a playroom over here and a bathroom. And then there's a laundry room right outside their bedroom. And then there's like a family room. And then across the hall is the girls' rooms. Like not a hall, but like the corridor or whatever you want to call it, the family room.
Okay.
The girls' rooms are right across there.
And is this a 2-story
Yeah.
home? Okay.
It's Wolf 3. It's got a basement too.
Okay.
So my son found the phone and it was stuffed down in the cushion.
Yeah, I'm sorry, where is the couch again?
Like,
So it's in the family room?
yeah, it's right outside their bedroom.
Okay.
Like maybe 5-10 feet from the bedroom.
Okay.
I don't know, like 10 feet, I guess, because it's like you have to walk around the corner and over to it.
Okay, he just starts taking off the cushions?
Yeah, he was just because it's one of those couches that has the base cushions and then it's got a whole bunch of like throw pillows on it.
Mm.
So he picked up her phone and it wasn't on.
Okay.
And then at that point, because I had called her mom and I called Cassie, we were all on the phone together and they were on speaker. So they heard everything that was going on and everything that was being said. And the police...
As you're walking through the house?
Yeah, because her mom was saying, like, look here, like, see if this is here. And I'm like, Sandy, calm down, let's first see if she's in the house. So, we found her phone, and Chris turned it on. The police officer asked him to turn it on. So they turned it on, and then it needed a code. I didn't know the code, but Cassie knew the code. It was the baby's due date.
Okay.
So we put that in, and then the last text and call that she had made was to Chris. Because they, I don't know, they popped on he started doing stuff to it, Chris did. Shanann's phone's an iPhone, I can't run iPhones, like I just, yeah.
Did you happen to see what time that last text was?
I didn't, I mean, and I don't know if it was a text, it was just like on the call log or whatever. I'm pretty sure it said, I don't know even know if it said Chris, I just now started to see, it could have said Cassie, whoever texted her last, I don't know. So then, I walked away from the phone. I went downstairs because Sandy was like, Nikki, go look and see if the girls' meds are there. Because Cece, the 3-year-old, well, Bella too, but not as bad as Cece. They both have asthma, but Cece's highly allergic, like EpiPen, anaphylactic shock allergic to tree nuts. So Shanann always carries those stuff on her, like their inhalers, their EpiPens and stuff like that. So her mom said, go see if you can find the girls' medicine. So I went downstairs and I looked in the cupboard where I knew the medicine was. And I didn't see it and I didn't even notice it till like a couple times passing or whatever. The thing that she carries them in, it was on the counter, but it was under the cupboard and it was like back in the corner. And I just like, I don't know, franticness, wasn't paying attention, but it was there. So she did not have the girls' meds with her. And then because we found the phone, she was like, is her purse there? And I'm like, I don't see it anywhere. So then I started rummaging through the house trying to find a purse and I didn't find it, and I'm like, no, her purse isn't here. I was like, so maybe she did go somewhere with the girls, like thinking that she did. And then, it was odd to me because there was a pair of CC shoes right there, sat outside their shoe closet. And then there was a pair of shoes right by the back door. I think they were Bella's. And then for whatever reason, there was 2 pairs of shoes of the girls' shoes out on the back porch on a chair. And, I mean, Shanann, the girls have a blanket out and she says it's dirty and picks up after them. I mean, they very rarely have stuff scattered everywhere. So I found that to be odd, but I'm like, oh, maybe Cece wouldn't pick what shoe she was on and she was in a hurry because she needed to go. I don't know. So those were out, and then we went over to the neighbor's house because he said the cop had asked questions I couldn't tell you. Like at that point I wasn't really paying attention. I was trying to like look for things that her mom was asking me to look for. She asked me to check the knives. I'm like, no, all the knives are here on the counter, like the butcher block or whatever. She asked me to go down in the basement and look just to make sure. I went downstairs. Stuff like, I mean, she was like telling me, because she lived there, she's like, did you check her shoe closet? She has this amazing shoe closet in her office that her dad built her, sorry. But I was like, Sandy, like, they're not here. I don't know what to say. They're not here. Then at some point, the neighbor said he has security cameras that face the driveway. And he said it only picks up motion. So he has it time clocked of when I dropped her off and when I left. but it doesn't show Shanann getting out of my car, and she got out of my car and got her luggage and then went up to the house. And I backed up, but I sat there for a second to make sure she made it in the house and shut the door and everything was fine. I can confirm she was in the house. And
She
then,
went in through the front door.
Mhm.
Okay.
so, yeah, and I don't know if she flipped the lock after, I don't know, but she did go through the front door. And then, he had security camera of that, and then he had security camera of Chris backing up his work truck to their garage at 5:18 in the morning and loading something up in it. And that's when my mind went bad, like really bad, because what would he be loading up at 5:18 in the morning? And Shanann yells at him, and he doesn't go out the garage because the garage is right below the girl's bedroom, and it would wake them up. He always went to and from the front door, as far as I know.
Okay. I assume the police took that video.
I think they got it today. I went back over because I talked to Fox 31, just doing a plea, like, if you're out there, please come home, please contact somebody. And they were there at that time. The neighbor said they asked him for the surveillance, if they could call, he could call his or whatever, not insurance, security system place and get the video sent over to him. And they were there with a K9 unit too, so.
Okay.
I mean, and this whole time I'm trying to be as cordial to Chris as possible, but I don't know.
I think you said several times that your mind went to a bad place or something to that effect.
Because her
What-
purse, well, then we found her purse. So then after we saw the videos, we go back in the house, and I found her purse right inside the door of her office. And I went in her office several times. It was like tucked right there by the door. I just walked past
Was it behind the door?
No, it was like right next to the door. Like the door was open, and then on the opposite side, it was sitting right inside the door.
Okay. So did it appear like somebody was trying to hide it, or just?
No, I
just
think she
kind of
just like
out of the
somebody
way?
set it right inside the door as they were walking by or whatever. So, like, I don't know. He's never made me think that he would do anything bad or done anything to make me assume that. But Shanann wouldn't leave her phone. She wouldn't leave her car. She wouldn't leave without the kids' meds. Like, and I'm just like, Chris, you were the last one to saw her. Where is she?
That was one thing I was gonna ask you about. So this EpiPen that she carries for Cece,
Mm-hmm.
does she go anywhere without that?
That I don't know, but I mean, I'm sure the school has them, but she had, like, I don't know how, I just know she carries it on her if she's gonna go somewhere where there might be an issue.
Yeah.
I don't
So-
know if they have one in the car, like, I don't know to that extent, but I know, like, when she travels, she has a little case that has all of their inhalers and an EpiPen and all of that in it. So, and she just got back from North Carolina, so in her office, on her desk, there's bags of all different kinds of medications that the girls take, like, Tylenol, ibuprofen, Motrin, allergy medicine, and whatever, I don't know what they're prescribed to, so whatever it was all still in baggies.
Okay.
So my thought is, if you were gonna leave your husband, why not pick up the baggies that are already packed and take them with you?
Right.
But all of their luggage was there too, that was the other thing. She bought the girls special luggage to go to North Carolina. Like, if you were gonna leave, why wouldn't you pack up their clothes and take it?
Okay. So did Shanann ever say anything to you about their relationship?
So, the week they were in North Carolina, and I can show you text that she sent me, she said, I think it was the second or third week she was there, and there's posts all over Facebook about it too. She got in a fight with Chris's mom because she went to Chris's mom's house to visit, and I think her name's Cindy. The other grandkids were there and they were older. Cindy bought ice cream that has everything Cece's allergic to in it. So Shanann asked, and this is just hearsay, I don't know. Shanann asked Cindy, please do not give this to the other grandkids until I get Cece to bed, because she's not going to understand and she cannot have it. And she took it and put it back in the fridge, and then I guess Cece went and got it, and then Shanann put her to bed, because I mean she's so sick. Like, you eat cashews and kiss her, she could go into shock. That's how severe it is. So, they argued or whatever. Shanann went back to her parents' house the next day, and as far as I know, she did not go back and see his parents. But they celebrated Cece's birthday while they were down there because she turned 3 in July, and the parents did not come to Cece's birthday party. So I know there was like a falling out between Shanann and Chris's parents, and then she called Chris and told Chris what was going on. So apparently there was some issues with her and Chris. And the whole thing, I don't know. And then I was told that Chris went and saw his mom and dad while he was there and spent the whole day there. And Shanann's mom, Sandy, and Shanann both said that Chris was not himself when he came back. And then, like, I knew something was up because of Facebook. I didn't ask. I figured she'd tell me when she got back or whatever. I mean, we texted a couple times, but she was on vacation spending time with her family. She didn't post pictures of her and Chris that week. Like, I don't know, they hadn't seen each other for 5 weeks, so it was a little odd that they weren't in pictures together or being lovey-dovey or whatever. So I didn't say anything, I just found it to be odd. There wasn't any pictures of Shanann either, and Shanann takes selfies all the time.
Okay.
Like, it's an every morning ritual of a selfie and you point to your DFT because you're trying to promote it type thing. There wasn't pictures of her very much that week either. So, and she texted me I don't know if she texted me, I'd have to look back at them. She either texted me or I'm pretty sure she texted me. She called me I think like once, but she really couldn't talk. She was around Chris the whole time. And I can pull it back up if you want me to. I mean, it was a couple weeks ago, but I save all my texts. I've learned the hard way with employees. Texts are important. She's basically just said that she didn't know what's going on. He was acting weird. She hadn't seen him in 5 weeks. He wasn't touching her. They weren't cuddling. He wasn't holding her hand. Like, he wasn't sleeping in the same bed with her, which I find that really odd. You know.
So is that all of that?
That was
new?
prior, yeah.
Oh, that's new. So prior to this.
Oh, prior to North Carolina, like, not to give you intimate details, she said that they were like screwing like rabbits and he couldn't get enough of her, and they were doing it in the pantry where the girls were in the other room. So to go from that extreme to I don't want to touch you is odd.
Okay. So prior to the North Carolina trip, there was no indication from
No, I went on a
Shanann
trip with them.
that their relationship was on the rocks, anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Right before she left for North Carolina, I was in San Diego with her and Chris. We won a trip through Lavelle. We were all on a trip, a paid trip by them to just enjoy San Diego. So I was with them for 4 days right before she left for North Carolina. So.
And how were they then?
Lovey-dovey, taking pictures together. I have tons of pictures of them together on my phone. So I mean.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't even know where I was in the conversation or what you asked me last. Oh, so they had the falling out. So Chris was acting weird,
right.
and then she texted me and said things were bad, and that she didn't know what she did or what was going on with Chris, and she thought that it was his parents, and the only other time he's ever acted like this in their marriage was right after they got married, and it was because his parents didn't go to their wedding. And that
So did his parents not like her?
No, they do not like her. Yeah, they do not like her. His parents do not.
Do you know the reason for that?
I don't per se. Like, I've met the parents like in passing. I've never spent time with them. I don't know. She can be bossy, but in a good way. I mean, it's not like I've teased her because I'm like, you're so bossy, but she's trying to like push you to do good things and like motivate you. It's not like a bitchy bossy. I don't know. But, I mean, I don't know what she's like with Chris when I'm not there. So.
Right.
But yeah, she told me through text. She's like, "Girl, I'm gonna need you more than ever when I get home." She's like, I don't know what's going on wrong. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I didn't do, basically. And I was like, okay, like, I'll come over. We can talk, whatever. And I was supposed to watch the girls when they got back because they had the ultrasound video of the baby to find out what they were having. Because the next weekend when we got back from Arizona, which would be this weekend, we were supposed to do a gender reveal party for them. So they flew in Tuesday night late, and I was over at their house Wednesday night before we left. I went over and watched the girls, played with them, painted their nails, that kind of thing, hung out with them. My mom and dad went. But Chris was really weird when he came home that night. He did not say hi to me. He did not acknowledge me at all, which is not normal for him. He'll like give a hug or he'll acknowledge that you're there. He'll say, hey, how you doing, whatever, and then he'll go on in his merry way and do whatever. He did not talk to me at all that night.
That was Wednesday night?
Yeah.
Okay, that would have been the.
And I mean, they
8th.
were in a hurry or whatnot, but because he was running late, so I literally got there when he got there, and we like bypassed, but he didn't say anything, and he seemed really like uptight, would be a good way to put it.
Okay.
So they leave and go to the doctor's appointment, and then they come back, and she gives me the envelope of what the baby was gonna be, and I said, okay, we'll find out in a week, like, and she was like, and then I started, she's like, don't open it in my house, and I was like, oh fine, I'll wait till I get to my car. So I go home, and then she texted me that night, and she said, people blowing up my phone. I can tell you, I have not had so many text messages, phone calls, and messengers on Facebook ever in my life.
I'm sure.
I do not want to be a celebrity at all. I left a job because my phone blew up all the time. Let's see. Since I was with her most of the weekend.
And how did she seem over the weekend? Did she seem fine?
She was, last weekend,
Yeah.
she was not her normal self. She was very down. She's constantly like second guessing how she was talking to people because she didn't want to be, I guess, bitchy. I'm not sure. Chris and her had a conversation, I guess, Thursday night. I guess I'll get to that in a second.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Finish
you're
what you were
okay.
looking for.
Yesterday. So, so they go and come back, and while they were gone, I asked how she was doing, and I showed her pictures with the girls. And I was like, oh my god, this is going to be so hard not to like tell her what it was once I found out. And then she texted me that night. I texted her at 9:46 because I knew by then. I said, oh my god, this is going to be so hard. She texted me at 9:55 on Wednesday and said, Chris said we're not compatible anymore. He refuses to hug me. Said he thought another baby would fix his feelings. Said he refused couples counseling. So no gender reveal. So she canceled the gender reveal of the party.
Okay, so that's
Wednesday night.
Wednesday.
So that would have been
Was
the,
it the 8th, 9th,
I think so. It would have been the 8th.
8th?
So then I texted back and said, what? I don't understand. What does he want to do then? And she said, no gender reveal. She's like, I'm putting my friend's thoughts. I don't want to fake a happy Chris. I was like, I'm not putting my friends through a fake happy Chris. And then again, I said, because it wasn't coming out, it says con gender reveal. I was like, is she trying to say no gender reveal? So I was like, so no gender reveal, question mark. And she said no. And then me and another girl was doing it. I said, do you want me to tell Taylor or do you want to? And she asked me to tell Taylor. So then I later texted Taylor. And then I said, okay. And she's all, he doesn't care that he's hurting me. And I said, what does he want you guys to do? And she's like, he's done. He said he will work it out. How do you work that out? I was like, what does that mean? Because I didn't know, like, what does that mean? I'll work it out. That's what Kristen said to her. I said, you don't work that out if you're not willing to work on it. And then she said, can you tell me what I'm having? I need some happy news, please. And I said, yes, I can. Are you sure? She was like, yes. And she's like, I'm not telling anyone, though, not even Chris. I said, can I come tell you in the morning? I'd really like to tell you this kind of news in person and not through text. I didn't say not through text, but I said, I'd really like to tell you in person. And she said, sure. I said, or I can come tonight and tell you, like, right now. And she's like, no, it's okay. I said, are you sure? I will. Because by this time I was texting, it's a little after 10. And then I was like, I just want to see your face. She's like, it's okay, I'm still crying right now, so I'll wait until a.m. And I said, I can come over now. And she's like, no, it's okay, I'll wait. And I don't know if you want to know the text message, but she said I might go masturbate to relieve stress. So, you know. And then I talked to her by that point because this next isn't until Thursday afternoon. So I did go over the next morning. We were supposed to leave, well, obviously the next day, so everything was whatever. But I went to Walmart and I got some stuff for the baby, and I got them these champagne poppers. So if they did decide to do it, like, they'd be exciting for whoever did it, whether it was her and the girls or her and Chris or whatever. There was, you know, they're gonna have a baby. And they were having a little boy. They are having a little boy. And she asked him if, and I took it to her house and said, like, it was in a little bag or whatever, and I said, here, if Chris wants to do this with you or whatever, and she said he wanted to wait to find out with her that night. So I gave her the bag and I stayed for a little bit, and then because she was trying to, like, appease him or make him feel better or whatever, she wanted to mow in the backyard, and I was like, Shanann, you're not mowing the backyard, it's like 80 degrees outside. She's like, I just need you to help me get it down the rocks or whatever. So I ended up mowing her backyard for her before I left, because I'm like, I'm not going to let you mow the damn backyard. I'm just not. So I mowed her yard, and then I went home and did my stuff, and I talked to her. She said, what if, because her anniversary with him, like their dating anniversary, I think was the next day, on Thursday. So she's like, do you think I should ask him to go away so we can work on things while I was there? And I was like, I mean, you could. I mean, I don't know what he's willing to do. So she did text him, and she texted him and asked him if he was willing to go away. So then she started sending me all these Groupons and asked me, like, where they could go. And I'm like, well, you could go up to Glenwood, depends on how far you want to drive. So we were discussing that. So she's texting me all those Groupons and stuff. And then she asked me about when I worked, because she was trying to find someone to watch the girls so they could go. And then we stopped texting at like 11 o'clock that night because I was here at work, and she asked if I worked on the 17th, and I said yes. And then I was like, question mark, and she said nothing. And I was like, it's not nothing if you're asking what's up. Like, she usually doesn't ask when I'm working because there's just something, you know. And then she texted me at 3:29 and said she was up and showered, and I said I was counting down the minutes and wishing that I had a shower because I've been here all night. And then she said, text me when you leave, and I said, when I get out to the parking lot I have to change. And then I texted her I was on my way, and then I picked her up, and then we went to the airport.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't see Chris that morning, I didn't see the girls. But she was off all weekend. I mean, we were constantly telling her, like, eat Shanann. I carried a water bottle with me all weekend, and I was constantly giving it to her, telling her to drink, because she kept saying she had a headache. And Cassie, that was with us, is a nurse. So we're both, like, you know, taking care of her, because that's our nature. And she would take a couple bites of food and wouldn't eat them. And then normally, like, I mean, and I know she's 15 weeks pregnant, but normally we'd, like, go out and do something. We didn't go out. We stayed at the hotel the whole weekend. I mean, except for going to dinner. We'd go to dinner and come back. So, I mean, even the whole last day we were there, the whole point of us staying there the last day was to, like, go see Arizona or explore in Scottsdale. I sat in the hotel room with her. Not the hotel room, but in the hotel lobby. Because we had to be out of our room by 11, and our flight was until 8:45 that night. So, we didn't go, we sat there. Because Shanann was, on the way there, she got Chris a book to try and help. She ordered a book, and then she downloaded it on her phone so she could listen to it. We listened to it on the plane together on the way there, and then she listened to it majority of the weekend, and she was picking out, like, how the book related to her and Chris, and how she could change these things or that things. And
What was the book name, do you remember?
I don't, but I could find out for you. I know the friend that referred her to it.
Okay.
Do you want me to text her real quick?
Yeah, if you know it. So actually, I was gonna have you text a bunch of stuff to me, if you would. I would appreciate it.
Can I have a separate piece of paper?
Yeah.
And I know I asked the detective earlier that called me, but when we come in, I wasn't trying to be non-cooperative or whatever. I've talked to so many people.
I'm sure.
I was like, I need to go to work.
Sure. You just kind of be for a little bit.
Okay, so what did you want?
All right, so let's see. Let's go in reverse order. So the text string that you had with her on the 8th of August, starting at about 9:55, where she talks about he says he's not compatible and he's done.
Okay.
Will you send me that text string?
Yeah.
Let's see.
And then I'll give you other people's information, because like Cassie, I don't know if they were in text message or not, but Chris told her she didn't want the baby.
We did. Yeah, if you'll put
I can write down everybody's information.
if you'll write down Cassie and Christina as well. And then if you'll do the photograph of the shoes.
And I don't know why I took a picture of the shoes. I really don't. It's just like when I was walking through the house, I'm like, well, that's odd. That's odd. Because, to me, I don't understand why the police officer let us go in the house.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, it's still at this point where it's still a missing person.
Right. But, he let us touch things and go through things. And that's where I'm like, I don't know. I've watched a lot of crime shows.
Right. I understand. If you could do the few texts that you sent her on
The day of.
the morning that she was supposed to go to the doctor's office
Which is
as
the
well.
12th?
The 12th, yeah.
Okay.
Like you said, you sent several texts that morning. If you,
Yeah.
If you send me screenshots of those two.
And Chris has been corresponding with all of us over the week. There's 5 or 6 of us that,
Has been?
yeah. So I'll give you all of their numbers.
Yeah, if you would, that would be great.
Well, he wasn't really corresponding with me, but he talks Cassie's husband, Josh. I'll just put Cassie and Josh. He confides in Josh.
Okay. Are they good friends?
They met through Thrive, but on all the trips we go on, they hang out together. And then Cassie came out to visit, and they stayed at their house. And,
Okay.
I mean, they're bros. So is she still considered a missing person?
At this point, I don't know if anything's happened since I've been talking to you. But
Well, because the lady that called me, she's like, we have some more evidence and need to talk to you. And I was like, okay.
yeah, a lot was just a clarification thing.
Do you need to know where they're at so when you call, they're up?
Oh, some of those in Hawaii, you mean?
Yeah, Christina's in Hawaii
Yeah,
and
he's
Addie's,
right.
Addie's on
Hawaii,
the East
that's
Coast.
fine, yeah.
Eastern, and she's in Arizona.
Did you happen to take pictures anywhere else on the inside of the house?
I can look. I don't know why the shoes stick out to me. Probably because she wears them all the damn time.
Okay.
She's like, you should buy these shoes. Do you have her mom's number?
Go ahead and give it to me. I'm sure we've got it somewhere, but make sure I've got that.
Why, can I ask a question?
Sure.
She's a missing person because of the children. Why haven't they issued Amber Alerts for them?
Well, with an Amber Alert, there has to be specific actionable information, like they were seen with this person and that person presents a possibility of bodily injury or death to them.
Okay.
Since we don't have at this point an indication that they've been actually kidnapped or anything like that, that's the reason it hasn't been an actual Amber Alert. That doesn't mean that it can't evolve into that, but if we just issue Amber on missing people all the time,
Right.
it loses its effectiveness.
Okay, then you want...
I was gonna ask you, any indication of infidelity on either party?
So, this weekend, this is one of the things that happened this weekend. Chris said he went to a Rockies game on Saturday night.
Who'd he go with, you know?
People from his work, I have no idea. That's just, he He went to a Rockies game on Saturday night, so they got a babysitter for the girls. And Shanann was texting with the babysitter to check on the girls throughout the night. But we were in Arizona, so they're it's an hour difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
An hour later. Chris wasn't home by like 9 o'clock, which she thought was odd because it was an afternoon ball game. And then she checked her bank statement and he went out to dinner, which that's not odd, but the total was $60-some. And she's like, why would he spend $60-some at dinner? And I'm like, maybe he had some beers, I don't know.
Do you remember where that was?
The Lazy Dog in Westminster, off of 144th and I-25. It's in that Orchard shopping center.
Okay.
So
What kind of restaurant is that?
it's like a bar and grill type thing.
So you'd have to work at it to get $65.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about, because I'm like, well, we went out to dinner tonight, and it was a Mexican restaurant, but it was a bar grill type thing, and, I mean, I had some drinks, so I was like, well, my bill was $47 tonight, and she's like, Nikki, $63, yours was $47, and it was one person. I'm like, well, yeah, but we didn't have appetizer and dessert. It's like, so maybe he, like, was treating himself, trying to make her feel better, because she was, and then she called him. I don't know if she called him or texted him. I think she called him because me and Cassie went down to the pool. And she said she called him. She said she was going to call him. So I don't know that she actually talked to him because we weren't in the room. But she said that he wasn't home yet either. He didn't get home until 10:30, which she found that to be odd because it was well after dinner. And she knows when he gets home because their security system tells you when you open the door.
All right.
So, she asked him what he had for dinner. And again, she's trying not to accuse or be snarky. So he said, oh, I had some salmon and a beer. And she's like, oh, okay, we'll save the receipt because I need it for taxes. Because she writes off everything. So then she gets off the phone with him or whatever. When we come back, she's upset. And she was like, what did he spend that on? And I'm like, I don't know. And she looked up the menu and he said he had salmon and a beer. And she's like, that's only like $30. Where's the other $40? I'm like, I don't know, Shanann. Like, if you ask Chris to save the receipt, you'll have to look at the receipt. I was like, maybe he bought one of the guys dinner because they bought him something at the ballgame. Like, who knows? So then she started going through their bank statement to see if there was any high charges while she was gone, because they don't have that relationship where he spends whatever he wants, she spends whatever they want, the bills get paid, you know. It's like, you want something, go buy it type thing. So there was that, and then the phone conversations were very small. Usually when we're on trips like that, they talk for 20, 30 minutes. She'll talk to the girls sometimes, they'll FaceTime. They weren't doing any of that. They sent pictures back and forth. There was no pictures, and the reason, or at least I don't think there was, because Shanann usually shows her, be like, oh, look at Cece or Bella doing whatever. There was none of that. And then he let her go because he said he wanted to work out or something whenever she talked to him last. So she let him go, and then the next day, I can't remember if she talked to him that morning or not, but it was very sparse throughout the day. He was going to take him to a birthday party of the girl that babysat, I think the brother or something. And through people commenting on Facebook and all the stuff that I've seen, he was at the birthday party. The guy said he was at my house, and I don't even remember his name or where I saw it, but I did see that on Facebook.
Okay.
And then she called him that night when we were at the airport, and I figured she talked to him for a little bit, but it was a very short conversation. She wasn't talking. She like walked off. She's like, will you watch my stuff? I'm gonna go talk to Chris real quick. And she came back, and it couldn't have been more than 5 minutes. I was like, are you okay? And she's like, no. She's like, I haven't talked to him all day or hardly at all this weekend, and he wants to work out. He started working out while he was on the phone with me, so I just let him go. And Chris didn't used to work out like this all the time. With Thrive, he's lost 70, 80 pounds, and he's gotten really fit in the last 6 months.
Where does he work out at?
In their basement. They have it's her mom calling me. I'll call her back.
Okay.
So, and then we came home. and she was upset because she's like, he didn't even want to talk to me. And then I did remember seeing a text from him because she texted him and told him our plane wasn't going to get in until about 1:32 in the morning because of the delay. We weren't sure, because at that time we weren't sure. They were estimating, we were waiting for the flight crew to get there. And he said, holy crap, that's late. And something else, but I remember the holy crap, that's late. And I didn't see any text after that. And I know Shanann was in a lot of in pain and a lot in the plane because she wouldn't sit still. She kept moving and readjusting and trying to
get comfortable.
Yeah.
You have any knowledge about their finances? I mean, were they in debt up to their eyeballs? Were
Yeah.
they rolling in it? Were they?
I would say, I mean, I don't know. I collected their mail while they were in North Carolina, and there was a lot of mail. I didn't go through it or whatever, but I mean, yeah, I think they were having financial issues because it was always, she makes enough money that their daughters go to a really high-end preschool and stuff, like private school.
That's what I just wrote down.
What?
Vista Ridge? Is that where
Yeah.
they go? Okay.
Vista Ridge, yeah. They go to Primrose Vista Ridge, and I mean, that saved by her being in North Carolina, that was a $2,500 savings that month. So if that tells you anything,
Yeah.
like I work nights, so my children go to daycare 2 days a week. So, but I mean, he works in the oil fields. He's got to make good money. I mean, I don't know. We don't talk about finances,
Right.
but
Okay. But
And-
your impression was that they had a significant amount of debt. Would that be a fair statement?
yeah, because I know they filed bankruptcy before.
Okay.
She's made that statement. And I know that they have, like, because she's always very, like, meticulous. Not like that we don't go out to lunch several times a week or whatever. But she's like, well, I need to go here because it's cheaper. Or, like, she thinks about how she's spending her money.
Okay. So did they go to Vista Ridge like full time?
Uh-huh. She works from home and she takes them full time.
She takes them
Mhm.
every day.
Yeah, Shanann usually takes them every day.
Okay. And is that the one in Erie?
Mm-hmm. That was the other thing. I was going to call the school and see if the girls were there. And I actually got a text message this evening from one of the parents at the school that does thrive with us. She was in Arizona with us. She didn't fly in and fly out at the same time, but she texted me. There's so many people texting me. It's ridiculous. And she said that one of the other moms, I have that too, one of the other moms at the school said that they heard Chris call yesterday morning and say the girls weren't going to be there.
Oh, sorry, say that again.
So Chris called the school yesterday morning
Chris called the school.
and said the girls were not going to be there that day, and then told them that they were separating and they were going to sell the house.
Do you remember who that was?
I don't have a name. I have a Max's mom, but I can give you Karen's number and you
Yeah.
can call her.
Yeah.
I'm going to put friend of girls school.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright. Anything that we haven't talked about you think we need to?
It's funny. I was talking to Cassie on the way to work and I was like, I'm losing my mind. I don't want to forget anything. I don't want to. I think she texted me and told me a list. I know that sounds horrible. At least I thought she did.
Oh yeah, you were gonna check for pictures, other pictures.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he told me to leave the house and everything was fine even though the car and things were still there. He did
Chris
tell, yeah, he
told
did
you
tell
to?
me to leave the house.
When was that?
That was when I called him the first time. He's like, would you please leave and quit messing with my doors because I kept setting off his alarm system. This is hearsay, but he told Cassie to not get the police involved when he talked to her. Oh, he mixed up his stories with everybody. So he told me that the girls and Shanann were on a play date. And then he told her mom something different. And then he also told Addie, which I gave you her number. He texted Addie something different too. I think one of them was that she left in the middle of the night, and the other one was she left that morning with the girls.
Okay.
And she said he told the girls' school that they weren't going to be there. They were separating and moving out of the house. Shanann wouldn't leave anything without anything, especially meds. And the other thing, the house was locked up. Like, the more I think about it, there's no way she could have left that house without somebody seeing her. Like, the way it was locked from the inside, if she was in that house when Chris left, she would have had to go out the garage. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, if Chris didn't lock that house up like that before he left, she would have been noticed on the neighbor's camera. Like, she said Chris is being cold, not himself at all, yelling at the kids more often, and just not himself. Oh, and because of the company he works for, and he has to go to oil wells, there's a GPS tracker on his truck.
Yeah.
So.
We're aware of that.
Yeah, I already told him that yesterday. So.
Okay. All right. So.
Shoes. Sorry.
Yeah, shoes. Other
He's getting
pictures.
sidetracked.
Other pictures. I'm sorry.
You're the 3895789. No, that's
9303895
5846.
Yep.
Oh, I have a picture of a car in the garage that my son took.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be good too. Oh.
Before we opened the garage. Let's see, maybe one of texts. Maybe if I do it. Oh, and I do have a screenshot of the guy that said he was at his house. Do you want that?
The guy that said he was there?
Yeah.
Who's that?
His name's Jeremy. I can't see it, but I'll send you the picture of it. Jeremy Lindstrom. He said, yes, I have the cops. My daughter watched the kids Saturday night, and the girls were at... Whoa, my phone's going crazy. And I don't know why, but I sent you a picture of a screenshot of an update that Amanda had sent. Let's see. And then you wanted mine next. I sent you the ones from that morning. But you wanted the ones from the day before, right? The 8th? Or before we left?
Yeah. One where you talked about that they weren't compatible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. If you would.
Oh, I'm gonna redo that one. Someone just texted me. Okay. And then the book. I'll have to text Sharon and ask her what the name of the book was.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a big deal. Just so she actually had it sent to him, the book?
Yeah, so she downloaded it on her phone and then she had it sent by Amazon Prime. It was supposed to be delivered to the house on Friday, or
Okay.
to the mailbox or whatever.
All right. Did she ever say if it was delivered?
What?
Did she ever say if it was delivered?
She didn't.
Okay.
And she said she was gonna wait to ask him if he read it because she didn't want to be pushy and be like, "How many minutes?"
Right.
And she told us she was gonna write him a letter over the weekend. Whether she did or not, there's a book that was in her purse. It's a green book, and it says like some quote on the front of it. So I don't know if there was a letter in there that she started to write him, or if she was writing stuff down of like things she could change or she'd done wrong or whatnot. But she had that book with her the whole weekend. It was a notebook, like a binded notebook. It's like a mint green. And for the life of me, I can't remember what it says on it, on the front of it.
Okay.
But she had that the whole weekend, and she was writing them off and on. So I don't know if that. But that was at the house with him, so.
Okay.
Like, is it normal for people to do this?
No.
Okay. So I'm not crazy to think badly.
No, and the circumstances kind of it's hard to not go to that place.
Yeah.
You know, with especially with, you know, the keys, the phone, medications, the kids, the car. You know, you kind of look at the totality of everything, and
Right.
it kind of starts to add up to a little bit of suspicion, and that's why we're involved. The FBI is involved.
Right.
So it's definitely got our attention, and we're doing the best we can to see if we can find her and the kids.
I mean, today, when I was at the house, give me a second. I know what I want to say, it's just not coming out. Chris was out, because the neighbor came over to me after I talked to the reporter. He came over to me because it was in front of their house, like off to the side of it. And Chris had actually came out of his house because the canine dogs were going in, and we were going to go in the house just to check on him. Like, I'm trying to be cordial because I don't want to think that, but in the same token, I'm thinking that. But he's got no family here either, and like I really don't want to think that of this person because I really, really cared about my friend and those girls. But I checked on him. I was like, "Are you okay?" And the neighbor pulled me aside and said, "When you get a chance, come talk to me." And I was like, "Okay." Like, why do you want to talk to me again? And he's like, "This is weird and things are bad." And I'm like, "Obviously, dude. Like, I don't know what you're gonna say." So then I went back over to Chris and I said, "Do you know anything? Has anything hit the checking account? Like her credit cards? Did she take any credit cards?" Like, I'm still in my mind trying to process. And he said, "No." I said, "Chris, did she?" Because we get paid every Tuesday on Lavelle. And you have to set it up either for like a prepaid credit card type thing, or you have to set it up for direct deposit into your checking account. So I was like, "Do you know the login? Log in and see if she had her money transferred today." And he logged into it and he didn't, like, it hadn't been transferred for the last 2 weeks, what she got paid from Lavelle. So I was like, "Transfer it." And he was like, "Why would I transfer that?" And I was like, "Because if it doesn't hit your account, it's going to hit some account." I mean, I don't know if that was smart or not smart, but if it doesn't hit their personal checking account, then it's got to go somewhere.
And who's paying that?
Lavelle.
Lavelle? What is
Yeah.
that?
It's the Thrive company.
Oh, the Thrive, okay.
Yeah.
LAVEL?
Mhm. And I can give you, I don't have Paul Garrett's number, but Addie Maloney would have his number, and they might actually be able to look and see if Chris says it doesn't hit the account. Paul Garrett's the CEO of the company.
How do you spell Paul's last name?
I don't know, I can look it up though. How funny. He just posted 22 minutes ago. Gravette.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you can think of?
No, but I've had several media sources reaching out to me wanting to talk to me. This was the last one that technically saw her besides her husband. What do you suggest there?
And I can't tell you what to do.
Right.
From an investigative perspective, we would prefer that you don't talk to them right yet.
Okay.
We do have a PIO, the person,
Private investigator.
I'm sorry, public information officer, brain fart. Public information officer who handles all of our media relations and
Okay.
what we put out to the media.
Okay.
We'd like to try to regulate that as much as we can.
Okay.
And, and again, I can't tell you what to do and what not to do. Use your best judgment.
Right.
We would prefer that you don't talk to people at this point.
Okay.
That's kind of our stand.
Okay.
So I'll let you use your best judgment.
Okay.
But like I said, we prefer that you don't right at the moment. There will be a time and a place for that.
Okay.
So
What do I do?
you can use it to let them go to voicemail, or you can tell them no comment.
I don't know how they're getting my phone number.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've texted me, they've messaged me on Facebook, they've called them up messages, and I'm
Right.
like, how the hell did you get my phone number?
Yeah. They're good at what they do.
Yeah. One of them called my aunt. I'm like, how'd you even know she was my aunt?
Yeah. Right.
So.
So, I mean, you can let them go to voicemail, not answer them. You can answer them and say, I have no comment right now. Whatever you think.
Okay.
So, and if you think of anything further, please send me an email. So
Okay.
that's my desk line on there.
Okay.
You got my you
Or
got my
send me
cell
an
number.
email.
Yep.
Okay.
So, or send me a text. It's fine too. You can do
Okay.
that. So,
Would you stay away from Chris?
at this point,
I mean, there's no reason for me to go over there, but then I'm the only one here, so they're like, well, what's Chris doing? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting at his house 24/7 with
right,
him.
right. So, I mean, and I understand your desire to want to be involved and try to
I don't
help.
necessarily in that sense. I don't understand.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Thanks.
And your list.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
want that? Yeah,
Yep.
you want that.
So, I would recommend that you probably not contact Chris.
Okay, and
For
if
the-
he
for the-
contacts me, leave him?
Yeah, probably for the time being.
Okay.
So,
Is it wrong to
Either.
ask if he's a suspect?
since it's technically a missing person, there's not technically a suspect, but he is somebody that we definitely would like to talk to further.
Right.
So, and you watch the Dateline stuff, and you know how that stuff goes.
Yeah.
So,
No, why?
people that are involved tend to draw a little bit of the spotlight more.
And, like, if it was a crime of passion, I honestly think to God he'd strangle her. Only because she already has the neck issue. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
What was that from?
She had I don't know if it started out as a slip disc but it was a degenerative disc, and they went in and fused some stuff in her neck. She's got a scar on the front part of her neck.
Okay. Did
They're
she
in most of the pictures.
Did she have a car accident recently?
No, she had a car accident in, I want to say it was 2007, and then she got some neck and back issues due to it.
Okay.
Why?
Did they have a Ford Explorer?
They did.
What happened to that?
I can't remember if they owned it and sold it, or if it was on lease and the lease was up and they didn't re-sign the lease.
Okay.
But they got rid of that about 6 months ago, 3 to 6 months ago, because they both earn, so through Lavelle you can earn a car, and if you hit certain criteria, if you go and purchase and lease a car of their car list, then they'll pay you $800 a month or $1,600 a month for your car payment.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's worth it to go get the car if you don't
Yeah,
have that
yeah.
car payment. So that's why they have the Lexus. The Lexus is through Lavelle not like through Lavelle, like if she quit earning that amount of money, she'd have to pay for it out of pocket, but they pay you every month on the second Tuesday of the month, and you get $800 or $1,600 depending on what bracket you're in
Oh.
to go pick out a luxury
So
car.
technically it's a company car.
Technically, yeah.
That's interesting.
But I mean, you have to sign the lease, and
Yeah.
if they don't end up paying you, you're still
You're still on
responsible.
the hook.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so they had gotten rid of the Ford because they were talking about getting another car. So,
Gotcha.
but then she said because of money issues, they were not getting another car because they were using, if you don't go purchase the car, then you still get a car stipend, but it's only $300, so they were just using the $300 for whatever,
Okay.
so, yeah.
All right. Okay. But yeah, if you think of anything else, send me a text or send me an email
Okay,
or give me a call, whichever.
okay.
So,
Do you need anything else from me?
not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay.
So, but you're here till 6 a.m. Is that right?
Yeah, and my 16-year-old was there too, so
Okay.
I don't know if you want to talk to him, but he was there with me. The 2-year-old probably won't tell you much. So, yeah, I'm here till 6 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I traded a shift this week so I could have Saturday off so I could go to Arizona with Shanann.
Oh.
Hi. This is my trade.
Now you're paying the price. Huh?
Yeah. Always the one.
All right. Well, thanks for sitting down with me. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Have a nice night.